Hey guys, Puppet Mama here, and I'm here with Ray.
Hey.
And we're walking the dog. It is nice and chilly out here today.
It is lovely.
Are you sad you didn't put on like a shirt or something?
I'm sad I didn't put on my Vader jammies.
I've got on my favorite flannel shirt. It's nice. Alright, so today we're going to talk about the dumb thing. Can we just call it the dumb thing?
I did the dumb thing.
Alright, so just a little backstory here. A few years ago, I was working in a pharmacy, and we were having I don't know what it was exactly, but they were trying to get like a high number of flu shots. And so they're like, we need everybody getting their flu shots. We need all the employees getting their flu shots. Bring your family in to get flu shots. So I'd never had a flu shot. And oh, they got something treed. There's some bagels, I called them bagels anyway.
You did.
There's some beagles in the neighborhood, and when they tree something, they sound like they're in pain, but they're not. They're excited. So if you heard that, that's what that was. So
The first time I heard that, I thought they got hit by a car.
I did too. I went off in search for them. I went like into the woods running because I was like so scared for them.
Oh
no!
Some more bagels.
More bagels! We usually have just a pack of dogs join us every day on our journey. So anyway, where were we? Oh yeah,
Flu
so
shots.
we were getting flu shots. I'd never gotten one. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty susceptible to the flu. I always have been. So, get a flu shot. Ray gets a flu shot. Kids get flu shots. We all get flu shots. The kids didn't feel good. Those flu-like symptoms that you sometimes get. And they're like, well, it's not really the flu. And you're like, are you sure about that? Because I still feel bad. Well, I didn't have that. But within a couple of weeks, I had the full-blown flu. And within a couple of months after that, I had the full-blown flu again. So I got the flu twice and almost lost my job at that point due to absences. Not because of my flu, though, but because of his reaction to the flu shot.
Oh yes. A little more background before we go on.
Okay.
Now, I'm a type 1 diabetic. You may have heard me talk about this before. And for those of you who don't know, type 1 diabetes is actually an autoimmune disorder. Now, what happened was, way back, this is like in the oddies, like 2003, 2004, I had an extremely severe case of the flu, like temperatures up to, 104.9, I think?
I don't remember. It was bad.
Really severe, and that caused an autoimmune response where my immune system decided to attack my pancreas. Within a couple years after that was when I got the diabetes. A couple years after that, well, that's when things got even worse. But so yeah, autoimmune disorder. So getting the flu shot triggered that autoimmune response.
Now,
Hurt. Mad dog.
within, I don't know, can you remember how long it took after getting the flu shot before you got so sick?
It was maybe a couple of days.
Yeah, within a couple of days of getting the flu shot, he was so sick. And you can say flu-like symptoms if you want to, but he had the full-blown flu. His temperature was high. He couldn't get out of bed. This man drinks more water than anyone I've ever seen in my life. I could barely get him to drink anything.
And when I did,
Because he couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't keep anything down.
No, that's not what happened. You weren't conscious.
Oh, yeah. It helps when I'm conscious.
Like, I couldn't keep him awake for more than maybe a minute at a time. I thought I was going to have to take him to the hospital. I was checking his blood sugar every 15 to 30 minutes and giving him massive doses of insulin because his sugar was so high and he couldn't even eat anything. So it was like, where's all the sugar coming from?
Right. Yeah, it was insane.
So, yeah. Which, you know, if you learn the actual facts behind it, that sugar was coming from the release of fat from being so sick and not being able to eat and all of that. So, fun.
So now that you know the backstory, let's talk about the dumb thing.
Okay, let's talk about the dumb thing. So, a couple weeks ago, we're talking about something or other. I don't even know. But I said something about not getting the flu shot ever again. And he's like, why is that? And I said, don't you remember last time that's when you got so sick and that we were going to have to take you to the hospital again? And it was really scary. I took 2 days off of work and I had 2 days off before that. So it's like 4 days, and on the 5th day I absolutely had to go back to work, and my daughter was left in charge of checking his sugar, but by that time he could stay awake long enough to give himself a shot, so she didn't have to do that for him. But she wasn't real happy about me leaving her in that situation. I wasn't real happy about having to, but the place that I worked at the time did not accept any kind of excuse from a doctor or otherwise, you know, as reason to, you know, give you time off, unless you took time off from, you know, your vacation time. And at that point I didn't have any vacation time. So I'll stop griping about that because I've gotten off point again. So anyway.
So back to the dumb thing. I go to the doctor.
Well, whoa.
Okay.
We talked about it like a couple weeks ago. Talked about why getting the flu shot was a dumb idea. So what happened?
So they give you the flu shot when I go to the doctor last week.
They just sprung it on you? They asked you, right? And you said,
Like,
yeah?
oh yeah, you want to get the flu shot today? I'm like, yes. Is that right? Because me and Deborah talked about the flu shot. So I guess I need one. That was the dumb thing.
That was the dumb thing. So Friday gets the flu shot on Thursday.
No, Wednesday. I get it on Wednesday.
That was the day
I went to the
before.
doctor on Wednesday.
That doesn't sound right.
That's right.
It was the day before, right?
No, it was 2 days before. I went to the doctor on Wednesday. My appointment was on Wednesday. I got the shot on Wednesday. I felt decent when I went to bed on Wednesday night. On Thursday night when I went to bed, I felt like crap.
Okay, you said so.
I get up in the morning on Friday.
Friday,
I feel terrible.
he feels bad, but he checks his sugar. It was 114.
Yeah, which is, you know, fasting blood sugar under 120. Yay, okay.
Yeah, for a diabetic, it's not great, but it's not bad. For you, it's pretty
For
terrific.
me, it's amazing. Again. Anyway,
So,
by the time I get to work, I'm feeling pretty bad. at 9 o'clock, now this is 2 hours later, my sugar was 474. And I'm like, alright, I've got the flu-like symptoms. My sugar just spiked up for absolutely no reason. So I go to my boss and say, hey boss, my sugar just spiked up for absolutely no reason. I think I'm having an autoimmune response to my flu shot. I'm going to go to the doctor. Okay, take care of yourself. I have a job that if you go to the doctor and you get an excuse, it's okay. They'll take it.
They'll take it. They'll pay you for your time.
Yeah. Get paid sick leave. Our company's based out of Canada. So that makes some sense. By the time I get to the doctor and they check me, my sugar is off the scale. And I need to do a urinalysis to see if I'm throwing enough ketones to justify taking me to the hospital. But I'm not. So. I get on.
I'm walking backwards now.
What?
I'm walking backwards.
Sorry. The dog is
Yeah, she's
going
trying to
sniff
keep you
at me.
in frame, but she's dragging you all over.
Uh-huh.
Alright.
So I go.
Video duration.
Oh. So I go to Walmart after getting out of the doctor's office. I get a vial of just regular insulin. Normally I take a mix. There's two different kinds of insulin. There's regular insulin and there's a basal insulin. Basal insulin keeps you from having blood sugar spikes. The regular one is for when you have spikes to get that under control. Normally I take a mixture. It's like 70-30. But the doctor wanted me, since my sugar was going so high, to get the pure stuff. So I did. Got that. Followed the sliding scale on that. Took a shot. So by the time noon rolls around, my sugar's down to 318. It's back on the measurable scale. 318, that's still really high, but I can work with that. It wasn't, back before we became vegan, 318 would be an average, like, morning blood sugar. So, by 2 o'clock, now this is where things get weird. Because remember, we talked about, I was taking that kind of insulin. I was taking something like 60 units. For those of you who are in the know, that's like the maximum my little needle pen will go to. Every 30 minutes for 3 days straight, and my sugar never dropped down to
5
something
days.
it would 5 days straight.
5 days. Well,
lost a lot of
on
time.
the 5th day, you were taking it probably every hour or two instead of every 30 minutes. But
Right.
those first 4 days were hell.
Yes, they were. They were very scary. So anyway, and my sugar never got low enough to be measured. And my machine maxes out at 600. But on this day, Friday, by noon, my sugar was down to 318. I took insulin using the instructions, didn't take any extra. Ate lunch. By 2 o'clock, my sugar was 131. So it's almost back down to a fasting blood sugar level. And of course, I'm texting my wife every time I have a break to keep her updated. Because she wanted to come sit with me when I went to the doctor, and I was like, no, that's okay. Stay with the
I wanted
kid."
him to come home, but he's like, no, I'm going to go back to work. Because that's a good idea when sugar's all over the place.
Yeah, in retrospect, that was a terrible idea. We already had people out, and I was stupid. So, anyway, by 4 o'clock, my sugar was down to 58. 58. Now, normal blood sugar